The Ballad of Wallis Island, directed by James Griffiths, starring Tom Basden, Tim Key, and Carey Mulligan. This is a wonderful, touching comedy drama. It's based on a short film done with the same director and actors all the way back in 2007, called The One and Only Herb Maguire Plays Wallis Island. Story takes place on Wallis Island, a tiny remote island off the coast of Britain. A folk musician named Herb Maguire arrives on the island to play a small gig. He is greeted by Charles, a local man who is very sweet and kind, but also incredibly overbearing and talkative, never shuts up, doesn't really understand boundaries. As it quickly turns out, Charles is incredibly wealthy, and he is the one who pays for the gig, and he is the only planned audience member. He's such a big fan of Herb that and his music that he wants to have this private performance. Now, not only that, another person arrives on the island the next day, Nell Mortimer, who is Herb's former partner, both in life and in music, part of the duo that they used to play as before they went their separate ways. And the story goes from there. So again, I really loved this film. I think it's incredibly sweet, funny, touching, and just life-affirming in a sort of everyday, undramatic way. The first half plays out like a naturally funny comedy with character clashes and situational humor and even physical gags that had me laugh out loud many, many times. And then the film becomes something else. It becomes a sort of nostalgic drama about revisiting your past, reminiscing about it, and allowing yourself to feel something good again. But then also realizing that sometimes the past is the past, that there are things which you can't go back to, things you cannot change, and you have to let go, let life continue, and embrace it as it is. I loved how the plot line between Herb and Nell does not go in the most predictable way, instead ending on a sort of bittersweet but realistic note, and also in a low-key, quiet fashion. I loved how Charles's character is developed. Over the course of the story, there are obvious hints to his past and to why exactly he wants this concert, and yet, even realizing and knowing what was going to be revealed, I was ugly crying at the climax of the movie. It was very touching. And also, much like the other plot, this too does not feel like a big Hollywood dramatic reveal. The information just sort of gets pieced together by the characters, and that's it. It felt very much like life. Like the music, like the cinematography, great locations and costumes. Really nothing to criticize about this one, if I'm being honest. I laughed, I cried, I smiled. I felt that for a short time, the world was a better place while I got to spend time on Wallis Island. Deeply recommend checking this out.